one. So we just got done watching the first Raw post WrestleMania, and let me tell you, it was shocking. It was wild, and I think a lot of people that were upset with WrestleMania, they might have their mind changed by this. So I don't even know where to begin, but I guess we could start right off the bat with John Cena. So John Cena comes out, and I can't get over how well this is being portrayed. Okay, you have fans. They were legitimately chanting, "We are sorry," as somebody in the ring is calling them out. So Cena's calling out the fans, and you have a big section of the audience chanting, "We are sorry" to him. That's how over, even as a bad guy, he is. People are loving, loving, loving the story that is being told. And as he's seemingly about to wrap up, Randy Orton comes from behind and RKO's him, setting up a Randy Orton versus John Cena at the next pay per view. It looks like, right? That's what we think is going to be. Most likely, that's going to be the case. Perfectly done because you needed with someone like John Cena, who is, such a big heel right now, although the audience does seem to like him. You now have Randy Orton, who the audience also likes, and they were behind him coming in and attacking Cena. This is two major names. These are two all-time names going head to head. I liked it a lot. Perfect way to start this thing off. The next thing, we get the title change on Raw. So obviously you have Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, right? They won the tag titles. I'm happy to tell you that they lost them to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And it's not because I don't like Lyra or Becky Lynch, but I think Raquel and Liv Morgan deserved the championship simply. Okay, so they get him back. That's perfect. We then see Becky Lynch heel turn time, starts beating up Lyra. We had this weird moment where the audience is now cheering her even though she's going heel, and they wanted to keep attacking Lyra. I thought it was fantastic. I think her character needed this. Now Lyra gets a really big name she can compete against. Love everything about it. We also got a Rusev return. Okay, this was pretty big, and he looks like he was a badass. He was destroying people left and right, so we're gonna have to see where else that goes. But pretty good start. Rusev returns. People were loving it. Then I don't know 100% how to correctly pronounce her name, but Stephanie Vakur, I think it is. She audience loved her. I know she's the NXT champion. We don't watch a ton of NXT, but I know she's the champion. She comes in the ring, has a fantastic match against Io Sky. The audience was loving this. They were loving this match from the beginning to the end. And we had other NXT superstars come in and get involved in the match. Rhea Ripley gets involved in the match. All around was a great match. The fans were buying into it. Then everything afterwards, the fans were buying into. Perfectly done. It feels like the WWE has struck gold all around with everything. Now, usually for a Raw, we would stop there and it'd be like, okay, great Raw. Not even close. Okay, we have more to go. Then we get Gunther to come out. So Gunther comes out after Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Like I said, we're not going individually through everything. We're just going through the big moments. Then we have Gunther come out. And Gunther chokes out Pat McAfee. So he starts attacking Michael Cole, starts choking Michael Cole. Pat McAfee gets involved, beats him up, and then Gunther ends up choking out Michael Cole or Pat McAfee. The fans are going crazy, so Joe Tessitore ends up taking Pat McAfee's spot in, at the announce table. But this is perfect. This is the Gunther we want. The fans hated him. They hate him right now. They hated him so much. Pat McAfee was really over with the fans during this, but it's just a perfect, perfect moment. Just absolutely perfect. And this is the Gunther I think that could be a real force in the WWE. One that's viewed kind of just ruthless, crazy, just doing stuff like this. I loved every bit of it. Dominic Mysterio does keep his championship, and JD McDonough it did return, so they ended up, being able to because JD McDonough actually gets involved in the match. Just overall, I love what they're doing with the Judgment Day now. Finn Balor is probably on his way out at some point, but this has been a very strong showing for Dom and for the Judgment Day as a whole. Now, once again, I will tell you, even after that, you might say, okay, we don't have anything else. That's it. We're tapped out in terms of potential for where this can go. And let me tell you, no, we're not. We still have more to go. And this is the last thing, but it's a big one. Ron Breaker is aligned now with Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins comes out, Paul Heyman's out there, and then CM Punk comes out to try to beat him up. CM Punk gets beat up. He gets his butt kicked. Then we hear the music of Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns comes out. He looks like he's, about to be able to beat up Paul Heyman, hit him with a spear, and then out of nowhere, Braun Breaker ends up hitting him with the spear. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. So what we see now is a stable, right? Paul Heyman now is going to have a pretty big time stable where we know there's two. We know we got Seth. We know we got Braun. The question is, who else is in line? Who else will potentially be joining this stable? We're going to have to keep our eye on it. And I thought there was an interesting thing that Paul Heyman said while he was in the ring. He wasn't saying it to the audience. He was saying it to, I think, CM Punk, when he said, "You didn't give me a choice. You didn't give me a choice. You didn't give me a choice. You made me had to basically betray my tribal chief." That's what Paul Heyman says. And I thought that was such an interesting, really good line. And the reason I say that is because I think it's starting to make a lot of sense. Because let's put yourself in Paul Heyman's shoes. I know everybody's upset because he screwed everybody over, although everybody also kind of likes Seth. So the fans, they don't know what's going on anymore. They're just cheering for everybody at this point. But they are booing Paul Heyman. But let's just think about this logically from Paul Heyman's perspective. You have your tribal chief who's the one that you are trying to defend, right? When you make this deal with CM Punk, you're doing it to defend your tribal chief. That's the reason you did it, because otherwise Roman would have been screwed. CM Punk asks you to do something that is going to kind of make your tribal chief mad. So that's why you don't get it going at first. Now, after this is all done and the favor becomes a reality, what does Paul Heyman do? Paul Heyman makes sure that it's in the main event, right? Make sure that it's in the main event. But what does CM Punk say to that? Well, CM Punk says, "Hey, that's not what I asked. You're supposed to be my manager." He doesn't say that at the time, but he says that's not what I asked for. And so you can tell where Paul Heyman and the reason he turns and he goes with Seth Rollins over both of them, because Roman is not understanding as to why Paul Heyman has to be in CM Punk's corner, right? Roman Reigns wasn't like, "Well, you were doing it for me. You were doing it for me. You were doing it for me. So it's fine." No, no, no. He gets upset with Paul Heyman. Not great. CM Punk, right? You would think that he would go, "Look, we had a deal, but you did make sure this match was in the main event, so that's fine. I don't have to do this." But CM Punk doesn't allow for that. So you can see where the frustration from Paul Heyman comes. And I thought that's such a good point, and it's such a good way to tell this story. Even if you want to hate Paul Heyman, it's very understandable. And now we're starting to see what this could be, where you have two huge names and you're building another faction that is going to be ruling WWE. That's probably what we're going to see next. Now, could they go after Jey Uso? Who do they go after? That is to be seen. But I'll tell you this, there's a lot of big stuff that's going to be going on, and I cannot wait to see it. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.